Hello and welcome to another tutorial with me, Swordfish. Today we're going to talk about another two skills, fishing and cooking, which once again complement each other, so we might as well make a video with them together. So grab your fishing rods, grab your lobster pots and your baits, and let's jump into the tutorial. If you've not seen my previous tutorial, I've talked about mining and smithing. Please go check that out on the channel. It was uploaded yesterday. And we talk about all the different ores that you can mine in the game, how you smith and the different types of smithing in the game, and the different techniques. And I'm going to go over the same thing with fishing and cooking here. We're going to talk about different techniques, what you need to do to level up the skills, and why it is beneficial. If you guys do like the video, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Press the like button, the thumbs up button, and leave some feedback down below in the comment section. But without further ado, let's talk about fishing and cooking. So fishing is the process of catching fish, like as it says, it's fishing. There are a lot of different fish that you can catch in the game, starting with shrimp. And for free-to-play players, the last thing you can catch is a swordfish. That's the maximum level fish that you can collect. So say we just started Tutorial Island or level 1 fishing. The first thing players will want to do is catch shrimps here in Lumbridge. And when near the mine, near Lumbridge Mine, just run south down the coast, and here you can find the fishing expert, or the tutor, there you go, and just fish a bunch of shrimps here. And fish here until you get to 10 fishing. It might take you a long time. Catching shrimps at level 1 fishing is very, very slow. Plus they only give you 1 XP at a time. But yeah, like do this to level 10. It will take around 40 minutes, I think, on average. Like it is incredibly slow. But once you do that, like fishing gets really fast after this point. You just have to get past this first level 1 grind at the start of the game. And a quick note to fish, you have to have the right equipment that you need in your inventory. So right now we're using the small fishing net, and you have to click these fishing spots, these little sparkling pools here, in order for your character to fish. Now what you guys can do is if you get a full inventory of shrimp, if you want to get your cooking XP up at the same time, run north up here, and there is a range in this house here in which you can cook your shrimps. Just open the door here and use your shrimp on the range right here, and cook all your shrimp in your inventory, and you'll also be getting a lot of cooking levels at the same time as getting fishing levels. So if you want to get them up at the same time, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Now at level 10 fishing, there is one of two places you can go. You can go back to the same spot again in Lumbridge down here, and if you right click the fishing spot, you can click bait. As long as you have a fishing rod in your inventory and fishing bait, you can catch sardines and herring, which are level 5 and level 10 respectively. Here you go. And you'll want to do this up to level 20 fishing. The second place you can also come is to Draenor here. But the reason I told you about Lumbridge first is at Draenor you have to be higher than combat level 16, I think. You have to be, just say it, over level 18 just to be safe. Otherwise, when you come here to try and fish, you will get attacked by these dark wizards here, who these guys are attacking. They are auto-aggressive. They will attack low levels in the area. So if you're not a high level at all, don't come and fish here. But you can fish here in Draenor. You can also do the same, or you can also fish shrimps here as well. But to bait fish, like I said, you need fishing bait and a fishing rod. Right-click the pond and click bait, and you will start bait fishing, and you will collect sardines and herring. Now, what you want to do with these fish is when you catch them, you want to go and bank them. The bank is literally just right there, so it's pretty close. This is also a perfect place for woodcutting as well, but that's in the next video when we talk about woodcutting and fire making. So fish the fish here, bank them in there, and do this until you get to level 20 fishing. So to run to the bank, just run north here, and then this is the bank right here, and just deposit all of your fish. If you are doing the Lumbridge method, you can still cook the fish at the range here. If you're doing the Draenor method, just bank the fish for now, and just store them in your bank. We can cook them later. I'll talk about where you can cook all your fish when we get to the cooking part of this video. So just bank the fish here, and we can definitely get to cooking them later on when the time is right. So at level 20 fishing, you will want to come here to Barbarian Village. Barbarian Village is the only place in free-to-play that you can fly fish. And by fly fishing, players will receive trout and salmon. Trout is unlocked at level 20, so if you click on the spot here and click lure, and also have a fly fishing rod and some feathers in your inventory, you will catch trout. And this is the best free-to-play fishing experience in the game. You could literally stay here till 99. People also, if pay-to-play, stay here till 99. Like, the XP is actually insane. Especially if you get to higher levels, you will start catching fish faster and faster. So fish here, like I said, you need a fly fishing rod and some feathers, and you will receive trout. At level 30, you will also receive salmon as well. So you'll have trout all the way up to level 30, and then at level 30, you'll have salmon and trout. Once you get full inventories, if players run north here, there is a fire that is never extinguished. Like this fire stays here forever. And you can cook all your fish on this fire here. And then just drop them all if you want to drop them all. Or if you want to save them for later, you can fish your fish here and then run north to the bank in Edgeville and come back and repeat. I wouldn't recommend banking the fish since it is a pretty long distance, especially when the path literally takes you like this and not like a straight line. So I won't suggest banking. I'd just cook the fish here like so, use the fish on the fire, and then just drop them like as soon as you've cooked them all. I wouldn't bother at all storing them in the bank. So stay here until you get to 50 fishing is what I say. 50 is a perfect level in order to fish lobsters, but you also have access to the rest of the fish in the game that you can fish in free-to-play. So at 35 fishing, you will want to come to Port Sarim. And right here, there are some sailors that you can use to travel to the island of Karamja. So for this, you will need money. Bring your whole cash stack, you won't die. Just bring all of your money and bring your harpoon. And also bring your lobster pot for the next part as well. Right-click the Seamans here and click Pay Fare, and they will take you to the island. If you haven't done the quest Pirate's Treasure, you will have to go through dialogue before you can even go onto the island every single time. So yeah, you might want to get Pirate's Treasure done before you do this if you want to just like have a little bit of convenience. So once you're on the island, run west here and run north into this banana plantation. And if I show you on the map here, there is a pier here that you can fish on. And this is where you start making money in free-to-play. So there are two different types of fish we can catch. At level 35, we can catch tunas. And that is done by having a harpoon in your inventory, right-clicking this fishing spot and clicking harpoon. And your character will do this animation. And he's basically trying to stab the fish in the water, stab the tuna, and grab it. So this can only be done at 35 fishing. Tuna isn't really worth much, but you can sell it if you want to. It is very slow though to fish these types of free fish that I'm going to talk about here. Tunas are very slow. I ended up getting a swordfish, but that's later on. So just keep fishing, you'll get tunas. And if you do want to bank, the route that you have to take to bank is you have to take the boats again back to Port Sarim. So this boat here will take you back over to here. And then here, even though it's not showing a bank symbol on the map, there is a little box that you can deposit all your items in, and it will send them straight to your bank. It's next to a boat of priests. It's called a deposit box. It's just on the side here. It's around about here. It's right where my cursor is. You'll end up seeing it if you go there. And then when you have to come back again, take the boat back and rinse and repeat. So it's not too long of a walk, but it is pretty far as well, since you have to sit through the ship animation as well as you travel around the map. But yeah, that's a 35 fishing. Once you get to 40 fishing, you can now fish lobsters, which are pretty good money and are definitely worth you going and banking everything. So to catch lobsters, you need a lobster pot in your inventory. You need 40 fishing, and then just click cage on these fishing spots here, and you will catch lobsters. And lobsters are really good money. They are 235 GP each, and you can catch them pretty fast. At level, I'd say 60, you start to catch them pretty fast. Level 50, you catch them at a decent rate, but you really don't want to start doing lobsters at level 40, in my opinion. You want to wait a little bit. So that's why I said fly fish until level 50. Completely avoid tunas, in my opinion. Wait, let me pick this tuna back up again, and we'll compare the price. So tunas are 77 GP, so you want to completely avoid tunas. So fly fish to level 50 and start fishing lobsters. Once again, same banking route as I mentioned before. Go south to the dock here, take the boat back to Port Sarim and bank here, and then rinse and repeat again. And then at level 50, you can catch swordfish, and I already caught one earlier. It's caught by using a harpoon once again, so it's the same way of catching tuna, but you have the chance of catching tuna or catching a swordfish. So right click, click harpoon, and from doing this, I will either catch a tuna or a swordfish. Swordfish are unlocked at level 50, and I really don't recommend free-to-play players to do swordfish because you can only really start catching swordfish decently at level at level 70. And to get level 70 fishing on free-to-play is very difficult. I really don't recommend any free-to-play player whatsoever to go through those struggles. Swordfish are also worth keeping. Swordfish are 444 GP in comparison to lobster. They are almost double the price of lobsters, so you can get a lot of money from fishing swordfish. But like I said again, you're going to have a decently high fishing level in order to be able to catch these efficiently. Lobsters are really your go-to when you're starting to fish. You can make around 70k an hour. If you watch my money making guide, this is one of the money making methods I talk about in free to play, is catching lobsters. Swordfish are really too slow for free to play, but even though if you do want to go through the hassle and you want to get a little bit more XP and catch tuna and swordfish, then for sure you can do that. But those are all the different fishing methods in free-to-play. I'm going to quickly talk about cooking, and by quickly, I mean quickly, because there isn't really too much to talk about with cooking. So with cooking here, you have a ton of different things that you can cook. There's a lot of things to cook in the game. Like, I can't literally go through every single thing because, like, there's so much. As you can see, you can cook so much different stuff. Even members have a lot more stuff that they can cook. And the list goes on and on. As you can see, there's loads of menus over here as well. There's cooking different bread, there's cooking different pies, there's stews, cakes, pizzas, wines. There's like so much stuff. So cooking, if you decide you want to make something like pizzas, you're gonna have to look up like a guide on Wiki or something, because like there's so much stuff I have to talk about here. I'm just going to talk about the basics of how to level up your cooking instead of what you should be cooking and how to cook things. So once you first start, if you do the shrimp method that I talked about, where you're in Lumbridge and you fish here and you go and cook here, once you get level 10 fishing and you cook all of them, you should have at least level 12 fishing. Then if you do the herring here and you bank them all, when you get to level 20 fishing, you should be around about level 23, 24 cooking. To cook those, by the way, this is the best place here, in my opinion, to cook things, is here in Edgeville. So you have the bank here, you have the stove right here, the cooking range to cook on. And you run out the bank, just go through these two gates and cook here and rinse and repeat. So once you have your sardines and herring, I really recommend that you just run back and forth here and cook everything. I want to note real quick, the reason why I'm telling you guys to use stoves and not fires, because I know there's a fire right here, is you have less chance of burning an item on a fire than you do on a stove. So stove, you have more of a chance to cook things correctly. The thing is sometimes it's not worth the while to just wait for a stove. Like, for example, when you fly fishing here, and I was telling you about the fire, you might as well cook them here. There's no point running to a bank, banking them, ready to cook later. I don't even know how I did that. That was very weird. But there's no point running to a bank to just pull them out the bank again and cook them here. You might as well just cook them at the fire right. So after cooking all your sardines and herrings, you should be about level 23 cooking. And then this is where you start fishing trout. And cook your trout on the fire right here. And your salmons when you get them all the way up to 50 fishing. And you should have around about 52 cooking by the time that you finish fishing here to level 50. So you do gain a little bit more XP cooking than you do fishing. And as you gain more and more levels, you will burn less and less food that you do try to cook. So like the XP rates slowly go up the more levels that you do get. So once you finish fishing here at level 50, you will have 52 cooking. At that point, I really don't recommend any free-to-play players to go any higher than that. If you want to move over to pay-to-play, that is the point where you start the really good cooking techniques and you won't be really wasting your time. Like, cooking in free-to-play really isn't beneficial because you can just buy all your cooked fish on the Grand Exchange anyway. I really feel like you should just fish. So, for example, when you have these lobsters here, just fish the lobsters and sell the lobsters, and then later on, when you need to come and like kill stuff and get food, just buy the food on the Grand Exchange. It will be cheaper. I would show you, but there is no fire. Like that fire just ran out there. But cooked food is generally cheaper than raw food. So just sell this and then buy the food that you want. Once you end up getting like those levels from your fishing trout and salmon and all that sort of stuff. And honestly, that's really all I've got to say about cooking. Cooking has a lot of techniques in this game, and it's very hard and very difficult to go through a lot of these. So if you end up wanting to cook pizzas, just go and look up a guide yourself. If you want to learn how to cook cakes and wines and all that sort of stuff, just go look up guides on Wiki. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you want to go to the Wiki page to help you expand your knowledge of RuneScape. But that's the basics of cooking. These guides are just the basics, and that's the basics of cooking and also the basics of fishing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Once again, leave a like written if you did enjoy it, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you like these sort of tutorial guides, I do have a lot of tutorial guides on the channel, so if you want to check out my tutorial guides, you can do. And also leave some feedback in the comment section down below. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Also, if you have any questions, you can also directly contact me on Twitter at Swordfish. This guy is trading me. Uh-oh, what does he want to trade? Let's have a look. Mega Man, what do you want to trade me? Come on, give me like, you want to give me a lobster? Do you want to trade lobsters? No? Okay. I don't know. See you later, guys.